Hello students, welcome to Misostudy. In the today's session, we will be talking about certain CBSE pattern question exercise for the chapter Structural Organization in Animals. We will be discussing 10 questions. So let's start the today's session with question number 1. So question number 1, 2, 3, they are of 1 mark. 4, 5, 6 that is of 2 marks, whereas the rest is of 3 marks, 2 question of 3 marks and 2 question of 5 marks. So let's start. The first question, which is of 1 mark, name the tissue which contain a Haversian canal. We know Haversian canals, they are present in bone. So the correct answer for the question number 1 is mammalian bone. Mammalian bone. Right? For question number 1, correct answer is mammalian bone. Now let's move forward for the second question. So second question indicate mention 2 special properties of nervous system. There are nervous system, in this the neurons are present. And what neurons do? They help in the transmission of nerve impulse from one place to another. They can be motor type, the neurons can be a motor type, they can be a sensory type, or they can be an interneuron type. In the special property of the nervous system, that means they carry a nerve impulse. So the 2 properties which is present in case of the nervous tissue is the excitability and conductivity. So first one is excitability. And second is they help in conduction of nerve impulse, conductivity, right? Now, listen to the things very carefully. Excitability. Excitability means whenever any impulse comes, either they are coming from any receptor which is present all around the body, such as the eye is present, the skin is present, muscular tissues they are present. Whenever any impulse come, that is called as a excitability, and later on that impulse which come, they are being transported from one place to another. Basically it transported with the help of the neurons, and these neurons they are connected to one another. We have studied the same in the sessions. So that is called as a conductivity. So these are the very important property of the nervous tissue, excitability and conductivity. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. Now, name the cells responsible for clotting of blood. Clotting of blood means whenever blood comes out from any wound, after some time the blood coagulate over there. This is the property of a blood. Otherwise, the blood will keeps on flowing and ultimately will die. That means blood has to coagulate. And blood is coagulated because of one special type of cells which are called as a platelets. And what is the function of platelets? That is coagulation of blood. Coagulation of blood. Right? Various factors are there which help in coagulation. Around 13 factors are present which help in coagulation. Whenever a wound, you must have experienced also, whenever you found any wound all around the body, you can see that blood is clotted over that place. That is called as a coagulation, and that is because of the platelets which is present in the blood. In case of blood, the 3 different corpuscles are present. One is a RBC, red blood corpuscles, second is called as a WBC, and third is called as a platelets. So out of which the platelets they help in the coagulation. Along with that, the function of platelet is also to protect ourselves, right? Now let's move on to the next question, and this question is from a separate category, that is of a 2 marks. What are the 2 types of fibers of connective tissue? Distinguish between the 2. So as we have discussed in session regarding the connective tissue, now we have to discuss the 2 types of connective tissue. We know the 2 types of connective tissue are the first, which is made up of the white fiber, and second which is made up of a yellow fibers. So white and the second one is called as a yellow. Yellow fiber. To talk about this white fibers, first of all, they are inelastic. First feature is they are inelastic. Inelastic. Right. Whereas the yellow fibers, they are elastic. They are elastic fibers. Right. Now, these white fibers, they are present in bundles. Present in bundles. Whereas these yellow fibers, they are present singly. They are present singly. Right? The white fibers, they are thin fibers and they are wavy. When we see the structure of these, they are in the form of a wave. So, they are thin and wavy. Whereas the yellow fibers, they are thick and straight. Thick and straight, right? These white fibers, they are unbranched. They are unbranched. Whereas these yellow fibers, they are branched. Both the fibers, they are made up of protein. Protein is different in both the cases. In case of the white fiber, the protein which is present, that is called as a collagen. That is called as a collagen. Whereas in case of the yellow fiber, the protein which is present, that is called as a elastin. So, have elastin protein. Right? These are the two type of fibers. Connective tissue, because they are discussing about the two type of fiber which is present in the connective tissue. The first one is called as a white fiber. Second one is called as a yellow fiber. The main difference which lie in them is on the basis of protein which is present in them. In case of the white fiber, they have a collagen present. In case of the yellow fiber, they have is a elastin present. They are inelastic, whereas these are elastic. Present in bundles, they are present in singly. Thin and wavy, they are thick and straight. Unbranched, they are branched, and also the protein that we have already discussed. So, this was a question, that is a question number 4. Now, let us discuss about a next question. Yes, this question is again of 2 marks. To which tissue do the following belong to? Basically, we have to discuss about these are the different cells present, and we have to discuss where these are present. First, we have is a osteocytes. Osteocyte, the name itself indicate they belong to bones. They belong to bones. The name indicate osteology is a study of bone, and that is called as a bone, and we have to discuss that they belong to bone. Next is a chondrocyte. Chondrocytes, they belong to cartilage. So, cartilage. Right, students? After that, the neuroglia. Neuroglia is present where? In the nervous system or nervous tissue, because they are asking about tissue, nervous tissue. Next we have is an intercalated disc. Intercalated disc is that disc which is present in the heart, which is present in the cardiac muscle. Right. So, this was again a next question, that is a question number 5, and we have to discuss that from where these cells are present. First, we have is a bone, chondrocyte belong to cartilage, neuroglia belongs to nervous tissue, intercalated disc they belong to the cardiac muscle, heart. Now, let us move on to the next question. question number 6. This is also of a 2 marks, that is to differentiate in the blood and lymph. Blood and lymph. Very direct question, very easy also. Blood and lymph. Let's first discuss about the color of blood. What is the color of blood? Color of blood is red in color. Why? Because they have a RBC present in them. Red in color because of presence of RBC. And what is RBC? That is a red blood cells. Whereas what is a lymph? Lymph is whitish colored fluid. Whitish color fluid doesn't have RBC, doesn't have red blood cells, right? Now, question arises where blood flows. Blood flows in capillaries, whereas the lymph flows in lymph capillaries. Blood flows in blood capillaries, whereas the lymph flows in lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessels. These are the two differences. Let's talk about some more difference. Blood. When we talk about the function of blood, what is the function? Function is that they help in transportation of transportation of oxygen, transportation of enzymes, transportation of hormone, transportation of excretory product. This is the function of blood. Whereas the lymph protect us from any unwanted antigen which enter into our body. So, let's talk about blood. Blood helps in transportation of gases. And which gases? That is oxygen, that is carbon dioxide, right? Even they also help in transportation of hormone. Hormone are also transported by the same mechanism, and also they help in transportation of excretory product or excretory waste, right? Whereas the lymph protect us from pathogen which enter into our body, and these pathogen, because they are foreign molecule, they are called as a antigen. And what is antigen? That is a foreign molecule. Right? Now let's talk about some composition of blood. Blood have protein present in them, whereas a lymph doesn't have protein. So in this case, the plasma which is present in the blood have protein, right? Whereas in the lymph also the plasma is present and the plasma doesn't have lymph. Plasma doesn't have proteins. Right? Let's talk more about these two. In case of blood, blood flows in a blood capillaries. When blood flows in a capillaries, blood flow is maintained and the blood flow that is very fast, whereas the lymph flow which flows in lymphatic vessel, that is slow. blood flow is fast. Blood flow is fast. Right? Whereas in this case, the blood flow is fast, is slow. Sorry, lymph flow. Right. So these are the difference between these. One more thing that I would like to discuss. In case of blood, we know the plasma is present and the corpuscles is present. In this case, the plasma is present and they have a less number of WBC and the less number of platelets present. So they do have a plasma and corpuscles. Whereas in this case, plasma is there and they have less number of WBC. Less number of WBC. Now what is WBC? WBC are white blood cell, right? And this was a 2-mark question. We have discussed the question number 6, right? Hope this is clear to you. Now let's move on to the next question, and the next question is from a different category. So that is a 3-mark question. So this is a 3-mark question. In this, the 6 parts are there and we have to explain each of these one by one. Give the common name of Prairie Planeta americana. We know this is a common name is American cockroach. American cockroach. We have studied about the cockroach in detail, right? Type study of cockroaches we have studied. That is American cockroach, Periplaneta americana. So how many spermathecae are found in cockroach? To talk about a spermathecae, in this a pair of spermathecae is present. So I am writing over here a pair is present. This is for answer B, right? A pair is present which is present in the segment, that is a 6th segment of spermathecae, right, and is present in the 6th segment. What is the position of ovaries in cockroach? Ovaries are found in, here I am writing, found in 2nd and 6th abdominal segments. Abdominal, targa, abdominal segments you can write. This is the correct answer for the C part, found in 2nd and 6th abdominal segment. Let's move on to the next. How many segments are present in the abdomen on cockroach? We have discussed that head is made up of, whole body is made up of the different fragments. The first one is called as a head, then they have a thorax, and after that they have as an abdominal. So when I was discussing about the morphology, I have discussed the 10 abdominal segments are present in this case. So the correct answer for this is 10 segments. Right, students? So let's move on to the next part. Where do you find Malpighian tubule? Now can I ask you one question? What is the function of these Malpighian tubule? It is present in the class Insecta. There is some specific function of it. What is the function? Function is to do the excretion. And where they are present? They are present at the ileum, or you can say they are present at the junction of a midgut and hindgut. So Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules. What is the function? That is excretion. Very important question that can be asked in your medical entrance examination. That is excretion, and they are present at at ileum. Or you can say these are the fine fiber-like structure which is present at junction of midgut and hindgut. We have studied in detail regarding the alimentary canal, even the diagram is there in your NCERT also. So when I was discussing that, I have already told you that they are present at the junction of midgut and hindgut. Whole alimentary canal is divided into three parts. First is called as a foregut, then is a midgut and a hindgut, right? Now, let's move on to the last part, that is a F part. What is a mosaic vision? Mosaic vision is that vision when we talk about their eyes. When I have discussed about the sensory structure, the sensory organ in this case, we have discussed about eyes. So eyes is made up of the different ommatidia, and each of these ommatidia, they make a separate image, and later on that image is combined, due to which these are those organisms which can see clearly. Actually, they cannot make an exact image of it, but any movement which is there in the predator, that can be easily felt. So, mosaic vision means, to talk about the eye is a compound eye. Eye is a compound eye. Their eye is called as a compound eye, and their compound eye is made up of ommatidia. Large number of these ommatidia are present which make a vision clear. So, help in detecting any movement. So, they can only feel the movement in predator. Or a prey, right? Now, what is the basic, when we talk about the cockroaches, they are omnivorous, right? That also you have to remember. So, this is a question number 7. We have discussed in the question the 6th part. Each of the part is of a half marks, a 0.5 marks. So, one correct answer, you will get a 0.5 marks. So, note down this, then we will proceed further. So, students, hope you have noted down this. Now, let us move on to the next question, question number 8. Yes, this is also one of the good question. What are the cellular components of blood? Cellular components, we know in blood there are two components. One is called as a plasma and second is called as corpuscles. So, we have to discuss about the corpuscles over here. So, the cellular components are of three types. First one which we have to discuss is a RBC, second is called as a WBC, and the third one which you have to explain, that is our platelets. RBC, what is another name of RBC? Full name of RBC, which provide a red color, that is a red blood corpuscles. Whereas this is a white blood corpuscles. And platelets, you know, we have discussed that they help in clotting of blood. Now let us discuss about a RBC. RBCs, they are mostly enucleated. They may be rounded, biconcave shape, right? And what is the function of RBC? They carry hemoglobin with it, right? And what is the function of hemoglobin? That carry the oxygen and as well as the carbon dioxide. So, for the transport of different gases, basically for the respiration, this RBCs, they are required. To talk about the number of these RBC number varies in case of the male and the female. In case of the female, this is lesser. In case of the male, they are more. They are present in millions. So, let us talk about the RBC. RBC which is present in case of a male is 5.5 to 6 millions, whereas in case of a female that is around 4.5 to 5 million per cubic centimeter. Right. Now, let's talk about the WBC. WBC is called as a white blood cells, and these white blood cells, they are having a nucleus present in them. It is further of two types that you have to explain. The first agranulocyte and second is a granulocyte. So, two are there. First is called as a agranulocyte, nulocyte, and second is called as a granulocyte. Right. This is a male, this is actually a millimeter cube. Right. Granulocytes and the agranulocyte. Agranulocyte, that means in this case the cytoplasm is clear, no granules they are present. In this case the granules they are present in the cytoplasm. Granulocytes and the agranulocyte is further divided. Agranulocyte is further of two types. One is called as a monocyte and second is called as a lymphocyte. Monocytes and the lymphocyte. To talk about the granulocyte, you have to explain the types further. Three types are there. First one is called as a neutrophil. Second is called as a basophil. Third one is called as a eosinophil. Neutrophil, they can be stained with a neutral dye, stained with the basic dye, they can stain with the acidic dye. So these are the further three types that you have to explain: blood, RBC, WBC and the platelets, different type, etc. So this, as it is of a 3 marks, so you have to explain in a bit of detail. Now let's move on to the next question, that is give an account of alimentary canal of So this is a question number 9 where you have to explain alimentary canal. Here the alimentary canal of a frog is mentioned, actually it's of a cockroach, because now the frog is not in your syllabus, we have as a cockroach, right? So earlier it was included, earlier the frog was there in your syllabus, now we have only a type study of the cockroach. And the cockroach we have already studied in the session. To talk about the structure of the alimentary canal. So the structure of alimentary canal we will discuss. Right. This is an overall structure. To talk about, first of all, it starts with the mouth. Right. And later on we have one structure present over here, which we call it as a gizzard. After that we can see the hepatic caecae, which is around a 6 in number, they are present. Then we have is a midgut present, mesentron, which is also called as a mesentron. Then again a structure arises which is comparatively broader. This is an overall structure. In this part you can see fine thread-like structure are present, so many thread-like structures they are present. We have studied about this. Here this is called as a mouth, right? After that we have, this is a pharynx present. right? This is called as a foregut. Foregut. This portion is called as a gizzard. Called as a gizzard. After that, this portion is called as a hepatic caecae. Hepatic caecae. The next region which is present all around like this is called as a midgut. Which is called as a midgut. After that, these are called as a malphigian tubules, which help in excretion. Malphigian tubule. The another region which start from this place, that is called as a hindgut. Ileum. Then we have is a colon. Last region is called as a rectum. All of these, they form what? Hindgut. So that is called as a hindgut. Right. We have discussed in detail regarding the digestive system or the alimentary canal of a cockroach. This is the diagram which you have to draw. In which segment, what is present, what is the function of this hepatic caecae, and one more thing. In this case, the salivary glands, they are present. This is a duct of salivary gland. On the both side, salivary glands, they are present. Salivary glands, they are present like this, right? This is an overall structure of alimentary canal. You have to explain each and every part in detail, right? So this is a 5 marks question, and try to draw this diagram. It's not try, but it is mandatory for you to draw this diagram with pencil only. Do not use any pen, black pen or the blue pen. Just draw with the help of a pencil. Neat and clean diagram should be there. If you are making a neat and clean in the well labeled diagram, that is if the diagram is self-explanatory, no one will read whatever stories which you have write. That doesn't mean you will write anything, but you have to write in a proper way. First of all, you will explain about the foregut, then midgut and hindgut. What is the function of a gizzard? That is to masticate the food. In the case of the mouth also, the different structures are present, like hypopharynx are there, mandibles are there, the maxillae is there. There is a function of each of these is different, and you have to explain that as well. So this was a question number 9. Let's move on to the next question, the last question of today's class. Describe the structure of neuron with the help of a labeled diagram. In the session, we have discussed about the structure of neuron. So this is also one of the direct question. Here, the cell body is present. After that, axon is there. These are called as an axon terminal. This is a structure of a neuron, right? In case of a neuron, this is called as a nucleus. Nucleus present. These are called as a dendrite. Dendrite. This is called as myelinated fiber. Myelinated sheath. This place which is empty over here, this is called as a node of Renvier. Node of Renvier. This is called as a exoterminal. Right. In case of a cell body, this is a cell body having nucleus present in them. In this, the nasal granules, they are present. Nasal granules, they are present. So this is an overall structure of a neuron. In the session, we have discussed about the structure of neuron in detail. Now we have to give an account on the type of neuron based upon the structure. So, types of neuron. Types of neuron on the base of structure, they are of following type. First is called as a apolar neuron. Apolar neuron. Second is called as a unipolar neuron. Third one is called as a bipolar neuron. And fourth one is called as a multipolar neuron. Apolar neuron, the unipolar neuron, bipolar and the multipolar neuron. In case of a apolar neuron, there is no distinction between afferent and efferent. No distinction between afferent and efferent neuron. Afferent and efferent neuron. In case of a unipolar neuron always carry a information in a one direction. These will have either axon or dendrite. Right? They always carries the information in a one direction. To talk about a bipolar neuron is that neuron which is present in the retina of our eye. They are also present in the olfactory nodes. So they have both axon and dendrite. Both are present, and they are present in retina of eye. Next is a multipolar neuron. In the multipolar neuron, one axon is present, and they are having multiple dendrite. This is present in case of vertebrates. They are present in case of vertebrates. So these are the different type of neuron that you have to explain. First, apolar neuron, unipolar, bipolar, and the last is a multipolar neuron. So, hope you enjoyed the today's session. We are done with around 10 questions. 10 questions is completed from my side, and you have to revise more and more questions. So, we'll meet you in the next class. We'll discuss about a new chapter. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you so much, students, for watching this.